I think you can throw around some terms and you can throw around some labels and you can be too loose with those labels. And sometimes it's done just for shock value, to get clicks, to, engage in a conversation. There's a lot of this talking head stuff where they debate things that are deliberately made a bit outrageous. And so it might be that when I mention the word coup, you say, well, that's just hype. Or one could certainly say, kind of, aren't you exaggerating? I think what happened on January 6th of 2021 was a coup attempt, right? They tried with fake elector schemes to undercut the election. They went through the legal processes after being rejected by all. There was an attorney general installation plan, that is to install an attorney general who would say there were irregularities with the election, that would allow Trump to say that there was enough doubt there to actually pause things, pause the certification, and even more. They've been talking martial law and all that. All of that was factored in and baked into what I thought was a legit coup attempt. And that's then before the violent takeover of the Capitol, which was to derail the certification process. So I think if you're not ready to stipulate to the notion that that was a coup attempt, then you're not really respecting the information that we know is in evidence. Now you get to today. Donald Trump has reascended to power. Elon Musk is his co-president. Unclear, those are sort of labels that don't really even matter. We know he's the richest man in the world, and he comes with a tech background and with an army of tech henchmen to go in there and actually mess with the government. And that's what's happened. There have been outrageous shutdowns, the freezing of all monies and all financial disbursement from the U.S. government that was then unfrozen. And that's not incidental. It was unfrozen because of the hue and cry. I mean, there was a cry about illegality, but there was also so much pushback that it became clear that the administration in their first week didn't want to deal with that noise. I mean, at least that was a factor in unfreezing the freeze. But now you have this guy, Elon Musk, who has infiltrated the American government in ways completely unprecedented. So he shut down USAID. I know many people through the years who've worked with AID. They do incredible work around the world. And the expenditures that are associated with so much of their work are related to a couple of things. One, you'll either care about both, or maybe you'll care about one or the other. The one thing that they're associated with is the idea that we are a righteous nation defending righteous goals. We don't want to see people go hungry. We don't want to see them the victims of the kind of persecution that we see worldwide and that we're lucky enough not to have in this America, etc. And so we reach out with American aid. But the second thing is associated with American aid, which helps to reframe people's view of America in a world that's constantly changing and, of course, is met, the contemporary world, with a lot of strategies on the part of our adversaries to take over parts of the world, to take over with influence, okay? It doesn't always have to be a military thing. In fact, soft power is probably the most effective power on earth. So by helping many of these communities, many of these governments, many of these underserved areas, from Africa to Latin America to Asia, you begin to connect America to these places in very positive ways that it's a win-win, essentially. We now have an area of influence, if you will. We're also legitimately helping a population that needs it or a government that needs it. And ultimately, we help build the influence of the U.S. worldwide. This is just one little part of that plan. You know, the China Belt and Road Initiative is not so different on the part of the Chinese. Look at what they're doing in Africa. They're pouring money, the Chinese government, into Africa. Africa? Why Africa? Well, once these various infrastructure improvements are installed in Africa on the part of the Chinese have a foothold in Africa. They have friendly relations with the governments in Africa, and they have access to minerals and other resources that are on the continent, and they're not insubstantial. So for China, it's a means to an end. So that's just a quick snapshot of one thing that is being shut down illegally, by the way, by Elon Musk. You can't shut down USAID. You can't do it. It's illegal. I mean, this is a government agency, and government agencies are empowered by Congress.
Well, where are the people that would stop them? The people that would stop them are in power.
This is the point, that they have to be stopped by that same entity that gave them power, Congress. So if everyone is too afraid of the rising despot, Donald Trump, and his right-hand man, then they may get away with it. I understand that it's illegal, but they may get away with it. And so it is with the Treasury Department, with Elon Musk and his representatives of his Doge, this government efficiency thing, which they just invented. He has access to the federal payment system. But essentially, you've allowed a guy who wants to make draconian cuts to the U.S. Treasury and to these programs that are costing billions of dollars to give millions of Americans support, from Social Security to other government programs that lift them up. You're giving him access to that payment system. And the final thing I'll say, in that system, the payment system it's almost like it's a mechanical aspect of all of this. It's the last step in these payments going out. It's not the deliberative part of the payment system, like should this place get this money, shouldn't it? It's just the last place. It's literally the place where they cut the checks. But most importantly, all the information of taxpayers, Social Security numbers, tax ID numbers, all of that stuff's in there. So you've given this guy, Elon Musk, and his people, his team, they're unelected and unofficial members of the U.S. government, the new U.S. government under Trump. They are literally downloading information onto servers, and they're locking out legitimate U.S. government employees from that very system.
What could go wrong with that, Mark?
Insanely dangerous, incredibly scary. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.